People tell me that I'm crazy.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kenzie, and today I am here with...
Hi guys, this is Brooke. What's up?
Okay, we're like really in the mood. We recorded possibly the funniest IGTV videos for the podcast Instagram that you guys should follow. It'll be linked down below. Anyways, I wanted to film our podcast recording for YouTube since you guys really liked the last one. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it. Subscribe if you guys are new here. We both have podcasts, Gals on the Go, and I love you so much. I'll have them both linked down below. You guys can listen to this episode or more on the I Love You So Much podcast, and then there's more on Gals on the Go. I can't speak today. Hey, Brooke.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I am so unbelievably excited for this podcast episode. I texted her yesterday. I'm so excited, and she was like, "I'm scared,"
because we didn't really talk about like the specifics of what we're talking about. So
yeah, but I think Brooke, I've said this everywhere, that I think Brooke is genuinely the funniest person to walk this earth. There's no one funnier than you. You don't understand. Stop. I almost feel bad for you because like you don't get the experience of being around you because you just are you. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you for the kind words. Thank you. But then I feel like if you overhype it, then everyone's gonna be like, this girl's so. You know what I mean?
No.
You gotta like serve it like medium. Be like, she's funny, not like she's the funniest person. Because then it's
okay. In like a social setting, I'll start with the like, okay, yeah, she's kind of funny, but like here,
okay. I'll accept it. I know you mean it as a compliment, but you know when you overhype something so much, like, it's gonna be the best ever, and it's like so average.
Yeah, so average. Are we gonna be at Coachella for your birthday this year?
No, that'll be. Yeah, I know. We'll just.
What are the dates? When are we at Coachella?
The weekend before. I think it's the like 9th.
Oh, dang it. Dang it. It's really cute. You guys can't see this unless you're watching the YouTube video recording, which there is one. Link in the show notes. It's really hard being on almost like every single platform at this point and saying
like,
that.
Description, show
I'm like, what is it? I don't know. Bio, whatever. Because I'm currently wearing a Don't Text hoodie. So an icon, and we're wearing our matching friendship bracelets, Panda camera, that we got last month in New York for our friendship.
It was like for Christmas, kind of.
Yeah.
Friendship mostly.
It was friendship mostly. Yeah. So I'm really excited to have you on. I decided that I would like to intro you as the Brooke that I knew at 15. Brooke X Beauty.
Tragic. Make it stop. Oh God. Okay,
we have actually known each other. I was 15. Were you like 16?
I was 16. Yes.
Yeah. We're 22 now. Almost 23. You're almost 23.
I know. That's a scary. I mean, it's not really that scary. Like, I still feel like under 25. I'm like, wow, I'm so young in the scheme of life. But 22 is. I want to be 22 forever. That's a good age.
It is a good age. Do you feel like I remember being 15 and thinking 22 was so old, and now I don't even think 30 is old?
Yeah.
It's kind of encouraging.
Oh, every year it gets a little bit higher and higher because I feel like you look at people that are like graduating college or like that last year of college and you're like, wow, like big kids, and then now you're like,
wow. Yeah. No, I'm like I graduate this year, God willing. Just kidding. I'm gonna graduate, but I graduate in not even this year, like in a few months.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I've been in school for my entire life, so the fact that I'm actually gonna be done and like I'm actually gonna have my bachelor's. It hasn't really crossed my mind because I've just been in school for so long. Like the fact, like getting it, you know what I mean?
It doesn't cross it. So I graduated this past May. Oh my gosh, almost a year ago now.
Wow.
But it doesn't hit, like, I feel that way too. That because you just do school and from preschool onward if you go to college.
Yeah.
So you don't really know any different, and then it's weird. You're like, wow, I don't have to like report anywhere, like hand in these things.
I don't have to write a paper.
Meaningless work. Yeah.
So awful. Discussion post. I don't care about the exams. I don't care about the discussion post. Nothing. I'm most excited to be done. Wait, did I say I don't care about the discussion post? That's a lie. The thing that I'm most excited to be done with would be the discussion post.
Yeah, I get that.
They're so awful. Okay, also wanted to give an honorary mention to Adina, your mother. I love her. Would love to have you both on the podcast one day. That'll be a goal of mine. I had Keaton and her mother on as well.
Yes.
That was a great episode.
Love that.
Yeah, we love her.
I have to get my mom to come to LA. We'll have to do that.
Oh my gosh, please. Or I mean, I'm sure I'll be in New York.
Yeah,
probably
let's
before
do
then.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Plan on it.
Okay. Also, just something else that I would like to say is that I would fully love to manage a comedy career. So if you ever come around, it's on record. Guys, in New York, we were on our way to, where were we going? I think we were going to dinner catch. And I was like full blown. Brooke, you have to be a stand-up comedian. Go on this tour. Not even, I'm like, a Gals on the Go tour makes complete sense.
Yeah.
The comedy thing. But we've now come to the conclusion that she's going to open for
I'm
herself.
going to open for the Gals on the Go tour, but just as a single comedy act. Danielle doesn't know this yet. If Danielle's listening, she's going to be like, Brooke, what the?
A single comedy act. Exactly. Okay. Hot seat. First question. Favorite purchase you've made? I know this is a shocker. Under $100 in the past 6 months.
Okay, I'm a big fan of the pod, so I actually did know that this was coming.
Thank you.
Well, I feel like I have to talk about Amazon because I love Amazon.
Okay. I asked Brooke this before. Gigs up. Sometimes. Sometimes I do have to ask people this question before because it stresses them out and they don't want to come back on the show. And I was gonna make an Amazon edition. To be more geared towards you because you're a big Amazon gal,
Huge,
as am I.
huge.
But you're huge. You make videos. I need to do that as well.
You should.
But yeah, sorry. Okay, so Amazon edition.
Amazon edition. I brought this with me to this trip to LA. I never thought that something this like this would be such a large piece of me. It is my iPhone tripod. Okay.
Explain why.
Yes. Okay. So I'm not like one of those people. Like, I'm not even like a huge like Instagram girl, but this thing it's changed my life. Like all of a sudden I take selfies.
To put it lightly.
I've never done this before. Like I'm not the one to be like, oh, the lighting is good. Like selfie. Like I've literally never done this in my entire life. Except so basically it's a tripod that it folds up. I'm not gonna say like purse size, but to like a reasonably small size. And on the side is a little removable Bluetooth remote. Super easy to connect to your phone, so you could be taking pictures and like. So you clip in your phone, it fits any phone size. Clip in the phone, and then you could be taking pictures with this remote basically in your hand that's not shown on camera.
Oh my gosh, Brooke, this entire time, I've heard you talk about this so many times.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing it on self-timer for some reason.
No, the remote is what makes it so special. Yeah. So it's good.
Oh
it's
my
great for like
gosh.
outfit
Do you have it
pictures and
on
stuff.
you?
Not right now.
Would have been great
I
for Cha Cha
know.
Matcha after this. Tragic, truly.
Well,
It's okay.
I think I'll see you again tomorrow, so maybe I'll bring it then.
Oh yeah, please
We
do.
can take pictures.
Please.
Yeah, it's great for groups because like you have a friend over and it's like, oh, we can take pictures of each other, but then you look like, do you have friends?
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
There's only so many solo pictures you could post of yourself. That's
Yeah.
how I get to a point where I'm like, oh, my whole feed is just me. Like,
Yeah, and also, as opposed to a normal person, and by a normal person, I mean someone who doesn't expose themselves to the internet for like a career.
well, that's it.
They don't post a lot of photos of just themselves. Like, but like, I'm not, whatever. I'm not gonna go into it, but like, you kind of have to,
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Okay, number 2. What is your go-to drink at the bar?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
She's blushing.
Yeah, well, mine is a dirty martini still, and I'd get it with Tito's because they usually ask, do you want it with gin or vodka? And I say like vodka. Tito's is fine. That's like usually like the lowest level that they have. And I get it extra dirty because if you don't ask for it extra dirty, I find that it's like really strong, like almost unbearably strong taste. And if they have, it's like if it's a nicer like restaurant or bar, they'll have blue cheese stuffed olives. So I get it with blue cheese stuffed olives.
That's great. I don't know why you're laughing at
I
yourself.
don't know because it's just like bougie. That's like a bougie drink. And then if it's like a regular bar that's I don't really know what I'm getting, I'll just get like vodka soda lime.
Okay, so here's the thing. I got a martini like a month ago when I was in Texas.
Yeah.
Because here I'm like, okay, Tito's vodka, definitely
Yeah.
of choice. My choice. Has been my choice
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
Mostly
of course.
because it's a Texas thing, but
It
whatever.
is.
Anyways, I tried to get a dirty martini, but I didn't get an extra dirty.
It was probably unbearable.
Of my 2-year, I would not say hiatus by any means, but definitely a lot less drinking
Yeah.
as compared to life
yes,
before.
Yes.
So I'm back in the swing of things, kind of. I can't even really now alcohol just affects me so much in the sense of like my
yeah.
face blows up, so it's really enough to just keep me away. But anyways, I was at dinner with my dad and he gets those and I only got a dirty martini. So maybe it's because I didn't get an extra dirty, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. And keep in mind, like that's not normally an issue for me.
Yeah, you definitely have to get it extra dirty, I would say.
Yeah.
But I had a bad experience drinking those a few weekends ago, so now I'm like, even the sound of it, I'm like, when I don't know if you've gotten that. Even if you
No, I
drink
know.
soda or something, like you might get sick of it after
And
a
you're
while.
like, ew.
Like a favorite food or something. So I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe
I feel like
time off.
martinis are the black coffee of drinks, you know? And I'm already a black coffee drinker, so I feel like the next step would be like, that's my like go-to drink of choice. And I drink a drink when I drink, so I think I can do it. you know?
Yeah, I think you can.
I will report back.
Okay,
And I
please
am
do.
fully inspired by you and Katie. I think I
Yeah.
actually posted a photo of it and tagged you and Katie. So, yeah. Okay, last but not least, what is your favorite dating app?
Oh my gosh, Kenzie. I only really use Hinge.
Okay, but why? I have never
Okay.
really done the thing because I only apparently date my friends, so please explain.
So,
So,
it's so much easier just doing it that way, though. The absolute effort.
I mean, it's worked out for me now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like, well, all these apps are starting to like get on this thing where they do more than just photos, because I personally think that there's way more to someone than just swiping through and being like, this
Couldn't
person's
agree
hot.
more.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's just not really my situation, and nor do I care to date someone that's like only gonna date me because they found me attractive on an app. So Hinge has these prompts which are more, they show your personality. So it will say something like, you know, where you can find me on Sundays, like laying in my bed watching Netflix or something, and you fill in the blank here. I know Bumble is getting on this too. And Tinder, I don't even think I have it downloaded. So I primarily use Hinge. I went on Bumble the other day. I just wasn't impressed. So I
Not
switched back to
impressed.
Hinge. Yeah.
Wow.
Just really for that reason alone, because I feel like they can be like pretty superficial dating apps. Which
Yeah,
I
I
get
get
it, but I mean, I've learned that personality really is where it's at. So
Oh, it's really where it's at.
really
Okay,
where
we'll
it's at,
circle
yeah.
back to this.
Okay.
Later on in the episode, just
Okay.
dating in general.
Okay.
I just want to say people are really invested in your dating life
I know.
because that
No,
was
I know.
the only, that was literally like, it was that and like quitting a 9 to 5. Literally like, that was pretty much it. But what I wanted to talk about with you,
Okay.
quite a few things.
Okay.
The first thing being self-doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I feel like you, even if you would say that you're not a bunch of things, because I have found that Brooke, I wish that Brooke could see herself from any of her friends, because all of us are so obsessed with you. We're all like, behind your back, we're like, Brooke is my favorite person in the entire world. You're literally the funniest person ever. Okay, so also, oh, thank you. Also, I think as far as character progression of all of us or whatever, like you have only gone up. Like, not that you were ever bad, but that's the point. Like, you were always great, and it's just like really gone up, and you know?
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Growth, lots of personal growth. These
Lots
past
of
few years.
lots of
yeah.
personal growth for us all.
All of us, yeah.
Okay, but I wanted to talk about like moving forward past hate.
Oh, yeah.
Because you obviously had to make a tough decision to quit your 9 to 5, which
did.
I would also like to explain to people. A little backstory. Actually, do you want to give a little backstory yourself, and then
Yeah.
I will say what I would like to
Sure,
add on?
sure.
Okay, yeah.
So I graduated from college in May of last year. I just did a marketing degree, went to the University of Georgia. Very normal, obviously. Everybody's doing the job hunt, the like spring, even fall of your senior year. Everyone's applying to jobs, so I started doing it. And I didn't really have a specific route I wanted to go, and I was literally all over the place taking like calls with, you know, people from marketing departments, people from sales departments. Like, I didn't really know. An offer kind of not landed in my lap by any means, but it just kind of worked out, and it seemed like the most promising thing on the table for me, which was working for a large tech company doing sales. And I was like, you know what, it's fine for now. I would never, even going into it, like, it's sad to admit, but I was never like, this is gonna be it for me. Like, I'm gonna be there for the rest of my life. Like, I never knew.
I mean, I think though out of college, that's pretty typical.
Oh, totally.
You know? Yeah.
And honestly, I'd say it now, like, it was totally a pride thing, like, not only for my parents, my family, because they could care less about, like, what I do, like, that, you know, they're proud of me no matter what, but more for, like, friends and, like, what society says, or even what people online say. Everyone's like, you got this degree, like, now you have to go get a job. So whatever, did the right thing, got the job, moved to Boston for it, started working, and I hate to even, I don't want to place the blame on the job at all, but I think it was just doing everything was really, really hard on me. I have a podcast too. I have my YouTube channel, and I was passing up on, like, honestly, monetarily, I was passing up on opportunities that would have paid what a month of my job had paid. And
Yeah.
I mean, when you just compare the numbers, like, face to face like that, and what I had more enjoyment doing, like, yeah, I had way more enjoyment making a video than making cold calls. I mean, we'll say it as it is. Like,
Let's be honest here, guys.
Let's just be honest. You can't even compare it. It's something that and that's another thing, I've been working on YouTube since I was so young. I never really thought that it would be something I could do full time, just because my channel never grew enough. And honestly, I just got to a point where, like, all of my platforms kind of got to a certain level where I was like, wow, I think I really could do this, and I don't regret it. So
I love that you don't regret it.
That's the decision. What was your question?
No, it's not even a question. What I was going to add to
yeah.
this is that I think the side of what people maybe don't understand, there's two things. So people have a quote unquote side hustle.
Yep.
And typically the goal is to make that your main career.
Yeah, totally.
But for some reason, whenever someone does that, especially if it is social media, in the realm of social media, people are very angry about it.
Yep.
And the whole thing of like, oh my gosh, it's not going to be there forever. It's like, okay, also I think people need to understand that people who do this, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but for at least all of my friends that I know who do this are like actually fully running a business and are completely capable of so many other things. Also, I honestly I mean, it's going to be around longer than you think. And then from what you're doing there, you just branch out and do other things. It's like, that would be like talking, I mean, okay, in the same kind of sense, like an actor, they act, it's like, okay, where's your next show? You know what I mean? Like, you don't have that booked right then. Like, it doesn't make sense. Second, you kind of did touch on this, but financially, it just made a lot more sense. Like, if you were making more money and passing up on more money than you're making, doing something that you love, why would you know? And I don't think it was like, it's not, you're right, like it wasn't a dig towards your job, it was just like a time thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, my job definitely, obviously, if it was perfect, I would have stuck it out and been like, you know, I have to make this work or whatever, but I also didn't see the career progression there for me. I wasn't even interested in the next role. Like, I remember telling my parents even like 2 weeks in, I was like, I don't want this next job. Like, and they were like, oh, well, that's not good. Because obviously that's the whole point of working, I feel like, in corporate, is that you see the goal and you're like, yes, like I can do it. Like, I want to be that next level. I want to be the boss, or I want to be making commission. I'm like, I'm basically making commission myself right now though. So it was very, It was interesting, I will say.
Brooke's quitting date just kept slowly but surely moving up a little bit and up and up and up. Yep.
If you would have asked me, my ideal quitting date was my birthday, so I would have still been working there.
Yeah, we wouldn't be recording this podcast.
Yeah, no.
So you guys are all welcome for Brooke's brave and heroic move. Okay, but how did you end up like, I can only imagine, also especially knowing you, because you don't like dealing with this stuff. Like, moving past the hate and also like making the right decision for yourself and not caring what people had to say, because this is like a life theme. It's not just like in this specific setting, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I always try to focus on the positive, because we always say it, you know, for every 100 nice comments there's going to be one mad one, and for some reason everybody does it. Everyone harps on the mean one. It could be the mean one that keeps you up all night and you could be like, oh my gosh, thinking about it and stuff like that. I just try, it's hard. I sit here and say like, I try not let it affect me, and it does. I don't know how any human could see things about themselves online, especially sometimes they're shockingly accurate and you're like, wow, like they're like low blows, but it's like, wow, this is true. But that's the cost of putting your life online, you know, and that's why I try to remind myself, I'm like, you are so privileged to have an audience that actually cares about you and knows these significant people in your life. I'll show you like one comment that someone gave me that I had to delete because it included such shockingly explicit details of my life that like only my close friends would know though. But then I try to look at it from the stance of like, wow, these people are so genuinely invested that they spend so much of their time. Like, I try to channel that more into gratitude, which is incredibly difficult, and I'm really learning to focus on that. But I just feel like the people who are there for my content for the right reasons will stick around. And like, of course, I've lost some, but I've also gained some. And I think then it's the balance. I tried to, you know, show a little more of like what my work is like now. It's not really working. People aren't really into it. So it's fine. We pivot the content another way. And I feel like that's the cool thing about our job, is that you can pivot in multiple different directions, and like, you know, sometimes the audience stays, sometimes they don't, but you figure it out.
I think just in like transitioning in life, especially career, is so important. I look at people, the common denominator between everyone that I look up to career-wise, and they all do such different things, is the fact that they've been able to transition in so many different ways. And that's the key, because it's like, I'm not betting on Instagram to pay my bills for the rest of my life, but like, I will just keep transitioning, and that's what's going to end up happening. Okay, there was also something that I listened to your podcast with Gretchen. Shout out Gretchen. And you were both talking about the whole concept kind of toning yourself down, which Lauren and I actually talked about on Mood last week too. But I think we are both girls with like, all of us, speaking for all of us, are like,
a lot of our friends.
I would like to say that we're very fun and cool, but some people don't think that. No, I think we just have louder personalities. And so people have constantly it's like a toning yourself down thing. People tell us to tone ourselves down. I remember the only time, which was literally last fall, that not the only time. Okay, I'm not a robot. That's not what I meant. I meant the time that has really most like messed with my confidence was last semester. And I just felt like I had to make myself smaller and put myself in this box and not. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm that loud, they're gonna think this of me or whatever. And I would say like we're both actually extremely down to earth and like freaking 100%. All of us are freaking normal people. But like a lot of the time, like my humor can come off as like I'm stuck up or whatever. And it's like, I really am not, but like, you know what I mean? Like even now I'm like, I would think we're funny and cool. Like I'm not serious. I mean, I think that we're great, but like, you know what I mean?
Self-confidence. Yeah. I get it though. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, like my mom was always super loud and outgoing, so I always saw it from that, and I was like, oh, like I'm loud and outgoing too. And then I saw like as I got older in life and stuff, just how I don't want to say that it negatively affected me, but especially I find with men that lack confidence, it really affects them strongly, because I've never.
You tell them, Brooke.
Yeah. It's not really I guess like women to women, like I've never had another woman be like, unless with the exception I guess of like the haters online or whatever.
Yeah, we have a few of them.
Yeah, they're like less impacted, but I feel like with guys it's actually more of a thing, because then you like threaten with their masculinity if you have to be like loud and crazy. And I have learned to realize that that's not every guy, that's some people, and they're just not your person if you have to alter your personality around them. Like that's not it. Yeah. Does this make sense?
No, that completely makes sense. I think my problem with majority of guys I've ever seen, majorly with the exception of like who I'm dating now, like big time, has been I think honestly even more than personality though, it's kind of like we're so young to be like this like kind of far ahead career wise.
Oh, that too. Separate
gosh, that really is what gets those guys, the insecure guys, like they really don't like it.
It's so wild.
Oh, it's so wild. And I've had guys like come to me after and apologize and be like, one guy, the apology, but he was like, I was so threatened. And it's like, I'm like, dude, I literally make video. I film myself. I edit majority of those videos and I post them to the internet. Like, it's not like I'm like freaking Selena Gomez. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's just, I'm literally, what? Like, I'm the weird one. Like, it's, you know what I mean? But people are so, I don't know. I think just the concept of like strong girls can be a big turn off to people. Yeah. Which is unfortunate. But honestly, you're right. Those just aren't the right people. And now who I'm dating, I mean, I think that's probably why my like Quentin is dating me now. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's like very switched.
No, you should never have to. And if you feel like, oh, I have to be like quieter, or like I can't talk about my work stuff in front of my significant other, like I don't know. I felt myself in those positions recently, and I was like, this is so dumb. Or I would, say like be so excited, oh my gosh, like I got my biggest like brand deal ever or something, and want to share this with like the people who I thought were so significant in my life. And it's, I don't know. You get a feeling when they aren't, it's not supportive, but it's almost out of envy. But it's like you don't even work in the same field that I do, dude. So it's totally different. Weird space.
And like, yes, we've worked really, really, really hard, but we kind of we both did actually accidentally stumble upon this at the very beginning, and we've worked hard since. But even like from working hard since, we didn't always know what it would end up becoming. You know what I mean? And like we are the exception. Like it happened so young, you know what I mean? Like this is not normal. No one needs to be. That's the other thing too. I don't know, I do feel bad about, genuinely, because I am the person, like I wake up really early, I go work out really early, like I do like the whole, I don't know, okay, well there's two things, the whole feeling like you have to be doing everything, and it's like, yeah, but I also go to bed at 8 p.m. so people don't realize that. And then and comparing yourself to people your age on social media, because we all do it, and there's newsflash, there's always going to be someone who's doing more than you, so like it doesn't matter. And then the comparison, just like I think the comparison, like 16-year-olds are making millions of dollars online now. Oh yeah. And so you feel like at 20 you've done nothing, when it's like, dude, you're literally 20 years old, even at like 25. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. So
many people don't even actually go into their career until they're like 30. So
which is normal. Actually in Europe it's like pushed back. Like people still live at home until they're you know in their mid 20s, like even 30. Like they don't move out of the house for a while. Like this is a new thing for us, that we're like, you have to move out of the house and be successful and like do all this stuff and grind. It's like, it's okay, like we can take a step back,
like deep breaths, chill, relax, you know.
I think people just compare in their heads, but it's like, we're not out here comparing ourselves to you. Like, I'm not out. I would never intentionally be like, well, I'm so much more successful than you, so I can't be your friend. I would never in a million years. I don't even think that. Like, those thoughts don't go through my brain. So
also the way that I like view much different than how I used to. So like quote unquote success to me is not what it seems like I'm doing on my Instagram or anything. And so I think, if you're doing well career wise, like that's so awesome. But if every other area of your life sucks and like you feel so like I don't know. Like, I just think for me personally, success doesn't really always have to just do with my career. Like, I do feel that in my career and I'm proud of myself right now. Yeah. But I don't, like, the way that I view success is not by that. So I wouldn't even be like, oh, I'm success. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's no, like,
it's
monitor
relative
of the success. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I have this amount of money in my savings account. Now I'm successful. Like, that is not true.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you go on these websites online, it's...
Oh, I mean, no.
Spoiler alert.
We've hit it.
We've hit it. We just filmed a video for the ILYSM podcast Instagram of it'll probably be up by now, but of us reacting to like articles online about us that are just so false. It said that my net worth is $60 million. Literally couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah. But Brooke's is $69 million.
I'm really balling.
So if that doesn't show that the internet is false, I don't know what does, you know?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Things also get over-exaggerated online.
Oh, very over-exaggerated.
For another day.
we'll get there maybe next episode. Okay, a lot of people wanted me to talk to you. Kind of about change in the move. A lot of these topics I feel like you share so much of already. Yeah, and that's okay, though. Actually knowing you personally, I feel like you actually share everything that you have to, majority of it. But just kind of more so on the topic of feeling isolated and missing friends. Oh, yeah. Especially living alone. Like, that's so much harder. When I lived alone, and I loved living alone, and I'm about to be living alone again, and I actually thrived that way. But it's really easy, especially for you, and that's me at the time, like in a new city, and you just moved away from all of your friends in college and stuff. Like, what do you do when you're feeling that? Or how have you like kind of learned to deal with it? Yeah.
Well, also I will say that transition also hit harder when I was like working my regular job. Like it was my favorite thing living alone, because I went out, I socialized for the day, and you know it's like that thing, like my social meter's out. Like I need to just go home and like sit on the couch and
Brooke
do nothing.
She's big on her me time.
Big.
She won't sit on a plane next to any of us at all. She will like actually move her seat on a plane so she has her own personal time. I get it. I understand it. But yeah, she loves her me time. I respect it.
I just don't like to chat on planes. Yeah. Like, I don't know. That's just...
I don't feel like anyone really does now that I think about it, though.
Danielle does. Calling her out.
Putting our boss, when Quinton and I fly together, I literally just like sleep on him. I don't talk.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I feel like couples, it would be weird if you're like, you're going to sit in the
front. Like, I like want him to sit there so I can like sleep in the rain, you know?
No, that's why people like sitting next to friends on planes. It's like you're guaranteed you know who's sitting next to you, not like, God forbid, like someone who smells bad or something, and then you're next to them for 5 hours.
Yeah,
like,
it's the worst.
Yeah. So where were we going? Oh, living alone. Yeah. So back when I worked like my regular job, it was great because I was like, I can come home and do my thing. But now that I work for myself, I definitely do feel that sense of loneliness, because I feel like I wake up and if I'm like filming a video or something, you know, it's all me. There are days that go by that I don't leave my apartment, quite frankly. So I've been trying to be better about reaching out to people. They might not be like my bestest friends on earth, and that's cool, but we could still get dinner. We could still, you know, watch The Bachelor together. We could still make plans. And I try to really pack up my weekends, because I feel like during the week people are busy or whatever. Also, I don't know. I mean, these aren't like super tangible tips, I guess, but like you do have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you will just sit in isolation alone, and like there's no advice I could give you unless you're willing to make a change. Yeah.
Do you think that this is why you like Soul Cycle now, because it's kind of human interaction when you're, you know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, I'll chat with some people if I like meet a subscriber.
Well, you don't have to talk to them, but you're just around people.
I like that. I also feel more motivated in workout class, so that yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like you're good about that.
Yeah, I literally go every single day. I really started to love group workout classes though when I lived alone, because I didn't have to necessarily talk to anyone, but I would start off my day or at any time of the day being around people when the rest of the day I was just by myself, you know?
It could definitely get really lonely and isolating, like and then everybody comments and suggests like, you should live with a roommate. Like just because you can financially afford to live alone doesn't mean that you necessarily like it fits your lifestyle or whatever. So like maybe the next place I live I will get a roommate. It's not completely off the table for me.
Yeah.
That was always my thing, like moving to Boston though, because I was like, oh, I have my own creative space, like I can finally do and it is nice as a YouTuber, podcaster, or whatever. I could be as loud as I want, of course within reason, like I have neighbors and stuff, but you know what I mean. So it is nice, and I do love having my own space and being able to decorate how I want and put whatever the heck I want in the fridge the way that I have it in the fridge, and like it's nice. It's a luxury.
It is. The fridge especially.
Yeah.
I keep going. I never go on Pinterest, and I'm like, fridge organization, pantry organization. I need to go to the Container Store immediately. Like I have so many things. Okay, so talking about apartments and stuff for people who are moving, what is your opinion? Would you rather have like live in the best location with a really small apartment that you don't love, or have the best apartment ever in a bad location?
Okay. I would say that I probably have the second one, and I kind of wish I had the first now. Although I still love my apartment, like love my space, but I was like, oh, I can get more for my money here, and I totally can. Like if I was paying what I would in the middle of Boston, like it would be a shoebox, but at the same time I could probably walk downstairs and go get coffee versus having to take public transportation or walk pretty far or get in my car. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think I would say location is the best, but I guess that's this compromise you're willing to make for your space. If you're literally like going out and working all day and just coming back to your apartment to sleep basically, then like who cares? You know what I mean? I know people who live in like small apartments and they don't care because they're like, down the street from their favorite restaurant and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be my vibe next place, but stay tuned.
She gave me a little wink for those podcast
I don't even know
listeners.
where I'm moving, but
I'm like, you literally don't even have a solid decision. Okay, well, I actually agree with that.
You do?
So I love where I live. It's actually a really, really great location for anyone. I can walk to anything that I would ever want to walk to, and I love my freaking house. It's like, I love where I live. But for me, everything that I got that house, and then about a few months later, turns out that every single thing that I did, like where I work out, my podcast studio, another office, the school I went to, everything was at the time in a 2-mile radius of each other, and I had to drive 30 minutes to get there. Really, it's like 20. Lately I've been working out at like 6 a.m. there, and it's a 12-minute drive, so it just depends on the time of day.
Totally.
As does everything in LA. But I was talking about that, and I'm like, honestly, I wish that I just had an apartment in West Hollywood, because it would save me so much time. Even though like I actually love where I live. Like if I had things out there, I would have stayed there like forever, as long as I'm in LA. But I actually do agree. I think the location matters more than the actual place. And it just saves you a lot of time,
That's the biggest thing too. It's like, oh, I'm going to a workout class, got to factor in another 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back. That's 30 minutes of your day. It's honestly a big chunk just for a 45-minute workout. Got to factor in that time still, the prep time to like,
get ready and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I work out so early, because I just get it out of the way. I'm done. I did 2 workouts this morning, and I was done by 8 a.m. I was home at 8:20. Like, it's so nice. But so I'm really not this crazy, like, I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning person or whatever, like, at all. But now that I've started, because I had to with the 6 a.m. workout, it's actually changed my life. So I think I might actually convert, but I will be in bed at 8 p.m. every night. So I need to like turn off my phone and block every single contact for past 8 p.m. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about dating. I know, surprise, surprise.
Shocking.
Okay, so I've never actually just like gone on a date with someone.
Okay.
Like we've established, I only date my friends.
Yeah.
To be clear, I only date one person at this point, not like multiple. But in the past, the people that I have dated, there's only a few, have mostly been grown from friendships. Actually, every single person I've ever dated, we were friends first, which is good and bad. But I've never just like gone on a dating app and like, or like just met someone out and about and gone on a first date or anything. I loved your Hinge Get Ready With Me, because it gave me a lot of like kind of insight to that world, because I'm really interested, because I would be so terrified. So I think you guys are all my heroes, because it really does take a lot of like courage to just go meet with someone and talk to them for 2 hours, and like maybe you hate them, I don't know, at the very beginning. Like that's like a really tough thing. So can you take me on like a step-by-step of Brooke Miccio's dating life? Like you match with them, you from there, like how long do you talk, what's the process, how long until you go on a date? Like just take me through it.
Okay, I've only ever gone on so I did the Hinge date Get Ready With Me. I've only ever gone on one date. He asked me if I want to go on a second. So.
Oh, what'd you say?
Spoiler.
Updates to come, guys. We'll see.
I did say yes, but it's like planned. I mean, here I am in LA, so like I'm obviously out there. Hey, you want to fly out to LA? So Yeah, with Hinge, I think the biggest tip that I have for people, and just what I've heard from even guys too, is like it has to be like a relatively quick turnaround. Like if you drag out the conversation and you're good morning, good night, like just talking like
good morning, good
like
night.
over weeks, you're never gonna actually meet up. And I feel like most people, you can't really get a sense of someone over like text. At least for me, I can't.
Yeah.
And so Hinge basically like you're messaging on the app. So like yeah, it's fine to chat about what you have in common. So like when I matched with this guy, like we chatted about a few things we had in common, like oh you're from XYZ place, it's close to like where I grew up, things in common. And then he was like, hey, do you want to like get a drink sometime next week? And I was like, perfect. We set a date and then like we met. And I think you have to see each other face to face like pretty quickly.
I think what you said about going to get a drink is a lot, and that being better than dinner.
Yeah,
that is a lot more. That's a lot less stressful, and you
It
can
is.
just kind of come and go. Like there's not a set. Like
Yep.
you don't have to wait for dessert. You know what I mean? You're just kind of
no.
in and
Also,
out.
Yeah, what if you don't end up liking the person? And then I don't know, I feel like dinner is like a huge commitment. Like drinks is more like
It's a
low-key.
very big commitment.
Yeah, and then I don't know, dinner, it's like kind of like it could be pricey. Who pays? Like it kind of gets a little weird, I would say. Versus the drink thing is just like way more casual.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. I hate that it's like even it has to be like a drink thing, but I don't know. It's just way more low key.
It's more low key, and it's not like you're like going like crazy wild by any
No,
means. Which
I
like
had
if
2
you are, go
drinks.
for it. But
Yeah.
like it's just a better setting. I think.
So many people ask me, like they commented, they're like, how do you like end it? And I was like, I literally called an Uber and said my Uber's here. Like I never felt pressure like that you have to continue the hangout or like go back. Like,
But were
home
you
with
just
them or
like
whatever.
mid conversation, hey, my Uber's here?
Well, I mean, it started to get later. Like we were there for like 2.5 hours or something. So I was like, yeah, it was really good. So it just was at that point where I was like, don't you have work tomorrow? Like,
Yeah.
again, I said something like, oh, I have like an early morning like workout class, which it wasn't that early, but it's just a good way to end it.
excuse.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I should probably, what are we gonna do? Sit here all night? Like,
Yeah.
no, we have to go home. I know I've never felt pressure on a date to like have to go home with them. I think you just have to be strong and be like, no, I'm calling my Uber. Like, no, I'm going home.
Yeah. What happens if you don't like them? Like, do you personally ghost people? Be honest. Or do you just like say, oh, I'm not feeling this? Or do you just like, what do you do? I feel like I feel like you could easily just ghost and that's fine on
Yeah.
a dating app because you don't have to respond, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, if you're just messaging with them or if you met. Because I feel like if you met, it gets a little weird. Because then it's like you owe them.
That's
but then
really
at the same
ghosting
time,
at that point.
Yeah, but how hard is it though? Like, if you go, it's a hypothetical situation. If you go on a date with someone and you don't want to go on another one with them, how do you like? Do you say like, "Hey, dude, like, sorry, just wanted to let you be honest with you. Like, I'm not really feeling it." Like, I'm. Oh my God, that's why ghosting almost is easier because it's like you don't want to be so cruel to someone. Like, what if they're mean to you back?
We're actually
Yeah.
the generation of ghosting. I
I know, it's just easier sometimes, and it's not even
Uh-huh.
out of cruelty, but it's just like sometimes it's like I don't even like feel like we're messaging this person back,
Yeah.
or you could do the thing where you just keep making excuses, like I'm traveling, or like
You
I'm really
should just
busy
say
with
I'm not
work."
feeling it. Just be like, hey, dude, like I really honestly don't see this going anywhere. I don't want to waste your time.
Yeah, I know that's like the polite thing to do. It's easier said than done though.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be terrified. It's really easy for me to say as I'm like seriously dating someone. I'm like, oh, I got it. I got this. I can do it. Give me your phone, Brooke. Okay, awesome. Not even just in dating, but how do you describe what you do to people? Because I would rather jump off a building than say that I'm an influencer. But it's
yeah.
like, what do you say? I actually thought of a good thing to say earlier. Do you want to hear it? Just for an idea?
I would love to hear it.
I think that saying that you're the host of a podcast, which is true, does sound a little bit better.
I like that.
Mhm,
Okay, I
right?
like that. So yeah, because this guy, like, I wrote on my Hinge profile that I do social media, so he was talking about his job, and then obviously it's my turn to talk about my jobs. But I never bring it up first. I never want to seem like we said, like too much or whatever. But I guess I should bring it up first. So he was like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, I do social media. Like I have a podcast and a YouTube channel, and I really just said like I do all. I never use the word influencer. I say like I do social media, and then and then as the conversation goes along, then they ask, how many followers do you have? Like, I hate that question.
The worst
too.
question ever. Because what are you supposed to say?
And then you say the number, and they're like, shut up, you're famous. And then you're like, no, the whole you're famous thing, I'm like, you don't, like,
It's
it's just the opposite of true. Literally the opposite of true.
unless you look at that article that said that we're worth $60+ million.
I hope that's the only material that they're reading before I go on
Oh my
dates with
gosh,
them.
what if people Google your name from Hinge and that comes up and they think you're worth $69 million?
I don't know. I mean, there's other articles that I would hope that article gets up before the other ones.
There was another article today that Connor from Dear Media sent. I'm just telling them this, not you. And it said that I made $8 or something today. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy between the two posts. And it used a Wikipedia as a source, which I would kindly like to point out that neither of us have Wikipedia pages.
We're just not on Wikipedia,
so yeah.
Let us know.
I say normally I'll be like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, or like I have a podcast or something. I'll never say influencer. And honestly,
no, I don't like that word.
I don't like the word. And when we started off, like, maybe this is dating us or past grandmas, the word influencer wasn't around. That's a relatively new concept about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what my mom says when she describes what I do, because like, that's even like, does your mom ever say like, what do I use to describe you?
I don't think that she would even know the word influencer, honestly, but she would definitely be like, oh my gosh, she has a YouTube channel, and like, you know what I mean.
My mom used to say like YouTuber, and then I was like, don't say YouTuber, and then she's like, what do you want me to say? I was like, I don't know, like, just don't be weird about it.
Yeah, like, figure it out, but don't be weird about it. Please stop embarrassing me.
Yeah.
It's just like a hard thing, because it is like, it's not something that we're not proud of. It's just like, honestly, guys, friend to friend, listener to me, whatever my name is, like, would you want to describe, like, just say that you're an influencer? Like, not really, no, you know.
No.
It's just like, I don't know what it is. There's just a really, I don't know. We've been looped into something that we didn't really sign up for necessarily. The influencer actual term directly is what I mean by that.
Yeah,
you know?
I'd love to joke around with it though and be like if I buy something that you suggest, I'll be like I was influenced. Like, it's like a funny joke. Yeah, humor.
Funny. Content creator, digital creator.
I feel like I don't have like the content creator. I could see that for someone. I think of like my friend Jeremy he has this account called Brunch Boys. I don't know if you. I saw the other day. He produces content.
That's what I was gonna say. Someone who makes videos like people that we know that are really good, that are past friends of ours. You know, like that sort of thing. Like,
yes, exactly. Like, there is actually, and not that we aren't producing content, but these are more curated content.
Yeah.
Like, his content is
highly produced.
I'm gonna show you some of it later. Like, it's produced videos with a theme, with where he's hosting, and there's different camera angles, and it's like you would show that to a brand and be like, this is a commercial. You know what I mean? It's more content versus with us, it's like.
What do you think about digital creator then?
I think
that one's better.
Yeah. People always say like digital entrepreneur. Like, I guess
I'll
that
do
works.
that one. That one works out.
But
like, I haven't started a business or anything. I mean, nope. Technically, yes, we have actually.
Yeah, we have. Technically.
Yeah.
But if someone asks me though, what do you do? I'm not gonna say I'm a digital entrepreneur. Like, those words will never come
no,
out.
I would never. Also, I would never call myself an entrepreneur. Like, in that sense. Unless I'm like, I don't know.
That could be like your LinkedIn bio, but like you're not gonna like say it on like
a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a certain setting and like you have kind of more so maybe earned the right.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to kind of end this episode, which has been a really great episode. Don't worry, it's not just ending yet. We have one more segment, guys.
I
wanted to talk about what we would say to our 16-year-old selves, because that's around the age that we became friends. Brooke was Brooke X Beauty at the time, wearing Lily Pulitzer, Vineyard Vines. Everything had her monogram on it. The monogram necklace. It's taking me back. She also, it's so bizarre because YouTube is, for a few weeks, was really pushing your really old videos and Alicia's really old videos.
Yeah, I noticed.
It was kind of odd.
My Sweet 16 video.
Oh, the Sweet 16 video was one of my favorites. And I remember watching it at the time too. And you're so like put together. It was genuinely a very useful video. Like, I hope people who are having those.
I remember planning this video. I took like 3 pages of notes. I was like, Mom, what did we do for this? And I was like scribbling everything down because I was like, I wanted to make it like the best video ever.
Oh yeah. Well, it was really good, honestly. Like, even to this day, I'd be like, oh, that's a good video. Like, it was helpful. I feel like it's still helping girls today. But like, just thinking back to our 16-year-old self.
16.
Yeah, seriously.
A must watch.
I would love to know if there's anyone under the age of 16 listening to this podcast.
Wow.
Please, if I don't think that there would be, but DM me
really cool.
or comment in the Facebook group or on the Instagram and tell me if you're under 16. I would actually love to know. Kind of doubt it. It's like cricket, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have like, what do you feel like you wasted the most time on at 16?
Ooh, that's a really good question, actually. I I mean, I would say like caring what other people think and stuff, which is always like the generic answer. But at the same time, I always kind of like did me, and I always kind of like did my own thing. Like everybody else did sports and whatever, and I did like when I was in freshman year, sophomore year, I did theater, and then I got like heavily into YouTube, and I was like I talk about it like pretty openly. Like there was a period of time where I was bullied for it, so I feel like I always kind of did me, but in the back of my mind, I still like always did care a little bit of what other people thought. I would tell my younger self like that. I know this is like so sad, but like it gets so much better.
Yeah, same.
Because I feel like 16-year-old me would look at me now and be like, oh my gosh, like she's really living, you know?
Oh, that's
it's
so
like
sweet.
sad as that sounds.
No,
does that make sense?
No, I completely agree. That's
Okay.
I would probably say chill out, which I think that will always be my answer. Even as I get older, I think I'll be at 80 and I will still be telling myself to chill out. For the record, I have, but I think one can always chill out a little bit more. And I agree, like it just gets better, especially like growing up. I don't know, I loved where I grew up so much. I love my family, I love all of that, but like it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
And there's just like, I mean, I had some rough things happen before like that age, so I just feel like, I don't know, like I was actually thinking about that today, and I'm like, if you told my 16-year-old self my life now, especially just like literally in the last week alone, I'm like, I feel more myself than ever, especially in the past 2 years.
Sorry, tweets.
Yeah. Brooke has Twitter fingers, which she has recently since, unfortunately, quote unquote retired. And I'm looking forward to their return. I think Brooke also has the best Twitter of all time. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, they gossip. No, actually now every time I tweet something since I tweeted that I retired, I get like called out by my friends. Like Mariah will like be like, Brooke, I thought you were gonna stop. And I'm like, oh shoot. Sometimes I just think stuff that's so good. But I had someone like tell me recently, they're like, why do you do it? I was like, I don't really know. He was like, you should probably like get some help. I was like, oh my god.
I really don't think it's that bad. Like I don't think it's like the worst thing ever.
I'm also not out here like saying explicit names. I'm not like so and so the worst human ever. Like what?
Yeah.
It's not, whatever.
I
Sorry,
like how
cut you
instead
off,
of subtweeting, it's Twitter fingers. But
Yeah.
honestly, not even all of your stuff is a direct subtweet. It's
Some of it's
it's
just
really
general
just
funny
general
stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
Like I actually think it's hilarious, but
Thank you.
yeah. Anyways, I think I would just tell myself to kind of relax because I've always been like a little bit high strung and okay, part of me thinks I'm really type A and part of me thinks I'm like really not. I think where I lack is the administrative side of that. I think I'm really organized and like a planner and really on my game,
Yeah,
but
you
I'm
are.
not administrative. Like I hate Excel stuff. I'm literally my degree ironically is business administration.
And you're like, I hate that.
I hate it. Yeah, I really hate the administration part. I love the business part. I think I would just tell myself to chill out and oh, you know what? Actually, no. This is the main thing I would tell myself. I've said this on the podcast, so I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it, but another way. But it's the whole idea of like, don't be married to your first idea. Because I was so tunnel vision. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this kind of YouTube video, and this is what's going to happen, and this is how my career is going to go, and blah, 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 blah.
Saturation.
Oh my God, don't even bring it up. So bad, Brooke. Anyways, yeah, we went through yeah, you did it too, right? Not as much as us. Danielle and I fell into it a lot more than you guys did.
Yeah, but I would still do the like whole like 5 ways to be stress-free or something.
Yeah.
Like
Meanwhile,
such-
you're like so stressed out.
Yeah, I was like, I've never like, and it was like one of them was like sit in the grass. I was like, I've never sat in the grass.
Wait, is there
like,
video footage of you just sitting in the grass?
it's like something so stupid. I'll show you because I remember the thumbnail that I made. I was like, this is epic. It's getting so many views. It got like 2,000 views. I was like, it made it. Like broke all records.
I'm literally crying.
Oh my God, you are.
I know. I think though I was so and like I think that is my best quality and my worst quality because I'm very set. If I want something to happen, I'm like it will happen. But it's also my worst quality because sometimes one, I think there's two things. Sometimes something else this was supposed to happen and that just means it's better even if it wasn't like your original idea. And then two, sometimes things happen. The thing that you want is going to happen, but it's never going to happen the way that you think it's going to happen.
Ooh, I like that.
So then, since you're so
I
tunnel
really like
vision,
that.
you like miss it, right? So I think I would say don't be tunnel vision and think bigger and wider.
I
you
like
know?
that. Yeah, like things might not come to fruition in the. Yeah, I like that in the way, in the exact way that you're thinking. Like, oh my gosh, I like that because I feel like everyone sets out these goals for themselves and like these are the steps I'm going to take. And sometimes it's like you know the plan kind of falls apart, but you still get to the end.
Yeah.
Just might take you a little bit extra time.
Yeah, and I think you're better off for it. Like everything that didn't go the way I went, like my school, for example, the school I ended up at couldn't have been further from what I what I originally like wanted to come to LA for. Like mostly was school, but not the kind of school that I went to. Best decision I've ever made, even over career stuff. So, and it was the most fulfilling thing I've ever done as far as like the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So it's just things like that. You have to just be open. But we're going to end this episode. Oh, but don't be too worried, guys, because Brooke also has a podcast, which I will have her share. We also filmed a few videos for the ILYSM Instagram, which will be in the show notes and linked below in the YouTube video. But those are really freaking funny. Like one of them is we're reading the article, and then another one is like how to break up with someone in a story time kind of, in like the nicest way possible. But Brooke, where can they find you?
So on YouTube and Instagram, it's just my name, Brooke Miccio. Everyone's like, what the heck is this girl's last name? When we made this age of switching from like the username to the name, it was like a blessing and a curse. Because, my last name is Miccio. At Brooke Miccio on literally everything, Twitter.
And Gals on the Go.
Oh yeah, and then I have a podcast with Danielle Carolyn, the best ever.
Best
Gals
ever.
On the Go. It's a lot of fun. We post twice a week, so
love
go
that.
Listen. Yay! Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Kenzie.
for coming on.
This is so fun.
I loved it.
Chases dreams.